Well, it looks like. Om Stapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharmasvarupine avataravarishtaya Ramakrishnaya te namaha Jananim Sharadam Devim Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Padapadme Tayo Sritva Pranamami Muhormuhu Namaste Yatirajaya Vivekananda Surai Satchit Sukasvarupaya Swamine Tapaharine वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचानूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्. So we are still in the first chapter. This chapter is so important because the whole Gita rests on this chapter. But for chapter 1 there won't be any Gita because Arjuna's Vishada gave rise to the whole of Gita. So obviously, although it started as Vishada Dukkha, still it's very important because of course we'll discuss at the end also. See, every chapter is called an yoga, Vishada Yoga. How can Vishada Yoga means it is where you get linked to a higher ideal, linked to God. Yoga comes from the Sanskrit dhatu yuj, means to link, to connect. So where is the connect? Connect is this way because unless there is that kind of a deep sorrow in your heart, unless you feel deeply, you will not seek anything higher. You see, these people, apparently those who are wealthy, rich and all that, they are beset with thousand problems, but they think that they are happy, they are doing well, so there is no time, no need for any superior seeking or anything. They may go traditionally to some mandir somewhere, give some money or do some dana, charity or whatever it is. But in a real sense, they are not seekers that way. Only those who are deeply afflicted, who have suffered sorrow in this world, they only seek something higher. So that is why this chapter is so important. This Vishad Yoga, this Arjuna, what happened, how a person was foremost as a warrior, how suddenly he developed a new attitude, what happened. So obviously this is worth giving some time. So जैसे उन्होंने बोला श्री कृष्ण तो उनका रख दिया, he kept the ratha in between the two armies ताकि वो अच्छी तरह से देख पाए. He could see clearly overall in which side who is what. Ah, so then obviously uh, he asked, then Krishna said, see these men of Kuru, they've all assembled for battle. Uvacha partha pashitan samavetan Kuru niti. You see, the Bhima, Drona, Bhishma, Drona and all those, etc. See these men of the Kuru assembled for battle. And then Tatra Pashyasitan Partha Pitrunah Pitamahan Acharyan Matulan Bhratrun Putran Pautran Sakingstatha. Then the he saw on both sides, not only on the Kaurava side. He saw that side, he saw this side also. Fathers, grandfathers, and then uncles, brothers, sons, grandsons, then comrades, father-in-laws, and then bosom friend. Everybody saw that such a, what is this? Whom am I fighting against? And both sides, not only me. After all, relatives are fighting against each other on both sides ultimately. ना इतना ऐसे ही उनकी division हुआ. They were completely on both sides, totally related, connected people in large numbers fighting on both sides. So इसीलिए कृपया पर्याविष्टो विषीदन निदम अब्रवीत. Then he saw he was overcome with pity. Kripaya paryavisha was overcome by pity. And he said very sorrowfully, what is said, we will see. Because before that we saw that each of the great warriors, see, they all had a special identification. No, we saw that somebody was blowing the conch, somebody was blowing. Each had his own special. That is all named. Sri Krishna had Panchajanya, Dhananjaya, Devadatta, like that. Each one. Now there is a difference also. In the Kauravas, they made noise, but it was a lot of confusion. But Pandavas, even their blowing of conchs was in such a way that instilled a tremendous sense of fear in the Kauravas. You see, even at the very point, they knew that it is something different. That's what the last when they Nabhascha Prithvincheva Tumulo Bhinunadayan Saghosho Dhartarasham Hridayani Hridayani Vedarayat Nabhascha Prithvincheva Tumulo Bhinunadayan. So that tumultuous uproar resounding in sky, etc., instilled a tremendous sense of fear. Obviously, see, the whole thing is arranged in the beginning itself. For example, as you said, in their side, it was Bhishma, the leader of the army, who blew the Shankha. But here, none of the warriors, it was Bhagavan himself. Krishna was the first person to blow the conch. Although he had promised that he will not fight, he will not touch arms, he will only be the Sarathi. Still, he blew. So clearly, Dharma on this side, the very Lord blowing the Shankha for the Pandavas, obviously that was a clear sign that Dharma was on their side. Then, anyway, let us continue. Because it seems in the Vishnu Purana, Shankha represents the senses. So when Sri Krishna blew the Panchajanya, when he sounded, because he himself is called Rishikesh, person whose senses are in control. So it was symbolic of, it was not just mere war or mere fighting or anything. The way Sri Krishna he sounded the conch, that showed that here is a person of complete control of the senses. And how being with him, surrendering to him, having him on their side, how the Pandavas were far superior. This is what it was given. And then, so he saw Dishvevam Sajanam Krishna Yusum Samupastitam Siddhanti Mama Gatrani Mukancha Parisrishyati Vepachascha Sharire Me Romaharshasya Jayate. So he said, you see, these relatives standing eager to join battle, my limbs are giving away. मैं तो कुछ नहीं कर पा रहा. सीदंती मम गात्राणि मुखंच परिसृष्यति. एकदम मेरा मुंह तो एकदम it is becoming dry. And then Gandivam samsati astat. That will come next. Veputra sharire me roma harshasya jayate. Then he says, I am trembling. And this horripilation. He was so much overcome by what he saw. Of course, there will be reason for that. Then Gandivam samsate hastat tvakchaiva paridahyate nataschakno vyavastatam brahmativa cha me manaha. It's complete brahma, total confusion in my mind. Why? Because a Gandhi was slipping from my hand. The person who had come to lead the Pandavas, to bring them victory in this war of establishing the righteousness, there is not even able to hold that bow Gandiva properly. It is slipping from his hand. And then my skin too is burning. Sharir, Roma, Gandivam samsatyasa tvakchaiva paridahyate. My skin is burning. And then nasashaknom vyavastatam bharmati cha manimana. Impossible to stand firm. Avastatam. Nashaknotam. I am not able to stand firmly. And then my mind is, as it were, reading. It is completely confused. Then what is it? Nimittani cha pashyami viparitani keshava natashreyo napashyami hatva svajanamahave. This is Keshava. I see viparitani pashyani. I am seeing nimittani cha viparitani pashyami. I am seeing all kinds of ill omens, bad omens. And then Achastreyo na pashyami hatva swadinama. I don't see that any great good will come by killing all one's kin's battle. In the battle, killing all the relatives. So there is the that's clearly here is the hint where it's taking a different turn. The whole grief or the main thing for him was killing of the relatives. He's not worried about facing great warriors. He's not worried about the battle, how tough it is. He knew he may win also. But he feels that. So, he was cornered by this affection, this ashakti for relatives mainly. How can I kill my relatives? How can I kill my people who are dear to me, my acharyas and others? See, quite often, it's a very, very important question in life also, Quite often we are unable to take the decision, We see in so many families, the children are going completely berserk, but the parents are unable to tell them anything. Simply because, it's my child, my son, my daughter. Arey, bolo, samjhao, sudhrav. No. And then when it is too late, when things go completely out of control, then they come and say, oh, Maharaj, aisa ho gaya, aisa ho gaya. So, maybe relatives, but where have they gone? Where have they joined the forces of adharma? If all had righteously decided, there would not have been any battle at all. If all those who are on the side of Kauravas, leaving just those Duryodhana and his brothers, the entire army, all the kings had completely said, no, 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 we are not going to fight. You have unfairly taken away all their kingdom. Give them whatever is their due. Why, by rightfully you have to give to them. If all of them had said, there would not have been any battle at all. But quite a good number of them, for whatever reason it is, they will come as a lobha or whatever, they thought that they have a huge army, you will win, we will all share the booty. If after the war, whatever was their thinking, we don't know, and they all opted for it. So obviously, in such a situation, you have to take a firm decision only. Still, he was very different. He was not worried. He says, how can I kill these relatives of mine? I am unable to even handle my bow or arrow or things like that. And then, Nakangshe Vijayam Krishna, Nacha Rajyam Sukhanicha. Eh? I do not, I don't have Kanksha, I don't have any desire for the victory. Na Rajyam Sukhanicha, not for the kingdom or the enjoyments. Then Kinno Rajyena Govinda, Kim Bhoger Jivitenava. Of what use is kingdom or enjoyments or even life itself? Jivitenava. He has become so depressed. He says, leave alone kingdom, bhoga, everything. Even life is not worth living. We have to kill all these people and then accumulate my Rajya. See, apparently, if you look at from outside, you will think that Evo is a very extraordinary person, so full of tyaga, is ready for moksha or sannyasa or complete giving up. Probably not, because it was a very pure, temporary state of mind. He saw something. See, that's why in life quite often we may have to take very tough, difficult decisions. Apparently, they may look very different, but one has to have that discrimination, the power to understand. See, if it is really based on Tyaga and Yoga, if we had done it even before this war, said, no, 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 let them do, I'm not going to fight, that was different. Yet come to fight. Suddenly seeing the relatives, this temporary thing as that Klaibhyam mas magamapartha naitattvai papadyate. Next chapter will come. Shudram hridedor valyam tyakto tishta parantava. Swamiji says that's the most important sloka in the Gita. Why this weak-heartedness, faint-heartedness come upon you? Where from? Then he will make him understand. That's why it took so many slokas and so many chapters. But then, quite often, outwardly, people might look very sattvic, but inside it will all be tamas. You are sitting all the time, not attentive, sleeping, mind is wandering, they don't talk. But some people are garrulous, they are talking, they are interacting, they are, oh, अच्छा वो तो हर समय बातचीत करता रहता है. But mere sitting, mere closing, that does not make you sattvic. Quite often, tamas and sattvic are very difficult to distinguish. Tamas often poses as sattva and deludes us. So Swami was very clear. पहले करो, get rid of your tamas, become active, do everything, then slowly you can go towards sattva. From tamas से आपकी रजस जाना है, रजस से ही सत्व प्राप्त कर सकें, पहले से ऐसे. We have seen also even in monastic life, people think नहीं नहीं ये सब काम दाम करना ठीक नहीं है. जब ध्यान करना, जब ध्यान is not sitting, and most of the people they start dozing when they sit also. 5 मिनट के अंदर ऐसे ऐसे दोलना शुरू कर देंगे और कुछ भी नहीं होता है. And also, even if you sit straight also, does it mean that your mind is in that kind of a deep contemplation? So all the impurities in the mind, all the other things have to be really churned and thrown out. Then only it is possible. So it's better to be rajasic, do intense activity. But as Mother always used to say, that doesn't mean that you neglect your spiritual practices, you will not do. You will do all that also. But there should be tremendous sense of involvement, activity, because that's what most of the people are capable of. They do require all that. But here he says that I don't even want to live. What is the use of enjoyment, etc.? Better to die, Whereas then, of course, he's definitely better than Duryodhana, because he says somewhere all these people are assembled for my sake. That's what he was saying, not for establishing the victory of dharma or adharma or anything. For my sake, they all assembled to give their life. He was so selfish. He was not worried about anything else. Somehow, जैसे तो इसमें विजेता प्राप्त करना, सब लूट लेना. That was his concern. Compared to that, Arjuna seems to be better, because he was thinking that no, all these people are there. How can I fight? Only thing is, probably his kindness or his pity was misplaced, because he will be then he will be indirectly helping adharma only. If Arjuna withdraws, if the Kauravas were to win the battle, then that will establish a very bad precedent before the whole world. मानी जी बहुत ही ऐसे कोई गंदा आदमी रिश्वत लेना है, बहुत कुछ ऐसे ऐसे, सपोजिंग ही इज ऑनर्ड, ही इज गिवन भारत रत्न, what will the world think? This is how it is appreciated. So establishing the dharma, not only for that, it's not just for, you need not think it's in a limited way. My victory, my rajya, for my enjoyment. No, it's not for your enjoyment. You have come for a cause that is definitely of a higher nature, in the sense that you have to establish that dharma prevails ultimately. It is dharma which is important. And for the sake of dharma, anything else can be done. Dharma is so important. So it be otherwise supporting only adharma. Especially Krishna later on he says, Swadharme nidhanam sreya paradharmo bhayava. You should, even while doing your swadharma, you die, doesn't matter. But don't try to adopt a dharma which is alien to you. He was a Kshatriya, he was born to fight. After all that, at one point of time, when much of his rajas goes, he may also be fit for moksha or higher contemplation, etc. But मन में इतना आशाएं लेके अचानक बोले नहीं कल से बैठ जाऊं ध्यान करने के लिए, होगा नहीं उसका. कृष्ण जानते थे, वो बोल रहा है टेम्पररी है. It is not that he did not want any enjoyment. He was not established in tyaga or yoga. He saw this, मेरा सब स्वजन है, कुटुंब है, इन लोगों को कैसे मारो. So that was his concern. So that is not real tyaga in that sense. Supposing there were only unknown people, he would have straight away gone and finished them all. Because they were relatives, he was hesitating. So obviously, logically, he was not established in that kind of a frame of mind which would qualify him for a higher pursuit or giving up everything and going into deep contemplation. And then, Yesha Marte Kankshidam no Rajyam bhoga sukanicha taimeva sthita yuddhe pranam stektva dhananicha. So, these people, for the sake of kingdom, कांक्षितम नो राज्यम राज्य भोगा ये सब की कांक्षा करके ये सब आशा करके with the desire of getting kingdom enjoyment pleasures etc. These very people then acharya pitara putra tativ cha pitamaha matula swashira putra syala sambandhinastata, all these people, relatives, father, grandfather, the in-laws, all those, they have all assembled. Why? Because they are all desirous that मेरा भी कुछ मिल ही जाए, इसमें मेरा भी कुछ भाग मिल जाए. Everybody has assembled with the idea. After they finally there will be loot, all of them can have get a share. They have come. They are ready to give up their lives and possession. क्योंकि उनका भी मृत्यु हो सकता है, लड़ते लड़ते मर ही जाए वो भी हो सकता है. But still they have forsaken everything. They are ready to give up their lives and सब कुछ तो चला जाएगा. Suppose they end up on the wrong side, they will lose everything. Still they are, it's like virtually gambling. जो पैसा है ढालो, जो होगा होगा, जाएगा तो पूरा जाए. Like trading in a share market. And then आता है तो ठीक है. So they are kind of gambling with their lives, their possessions, everything. So he says this is not the way. He is not convinced. And then एतान्न हन्तुमिच्छामि ज्ञातोऽपि मधुसूदन अपि त्रैलोक्य राज्यस्य हेतो किन्न मही कृते. You see, even for the sovereignty of 3 worlds, मेरा त्रिलोक भी मिल जाए फिर भी I do not desire to kill them. एतान न हन्तुम इच्छामि, I don't want to kill them. Or even I might get killed. Jnatopi madhusudra, even if they kill me, I don't want to kill them. Even for the sake of 3 worlds, I don't want to kill. Api Trailokya Rajasya heto kinna mahi krite, much less for this worthless, this worldly kingdom तो कुछ नहीं है. आपका मैं बोलो त्रिलोक आपको दे दो फिर भी मैं लड़ना नहीं चाहता हूँ. Not only that, would you not fight to protect yourself? No, let them kill me, I don't care. इतना तक पहुंच गया उनका विरक्ति. निहत्य दार्तराष्ट्रान् का प्रीतिस्या जनार्दन पापमेवाश्रये तस्मात् हत्वैतान् आततायिनः. What joy can there be for us by killing the sons of Dhritarashtra? Nihatya Dhritarashtra Nihatya ka pritisya janardan. What will be the joy by killing the sons of Dhritarashtra? Papameva shreye tasman. You see, these are hatpaitan atatainaha. Only we will acquire sin by killing these atatains, felons. These are all completely against Shastras. Shastras clearly say, if such a person, such a cruel, wicked person appears before you, without waiting a minute, kill him. That's what the Shastra says. Atatains are to be destroyed immediately. Felons, those who are committed cruel, heinous crimes, etc. Such people are to be killed immediately. But even that he says, no, no, no. Even if they are such wicked, cruel people, killing them will only accrue sin, which is obviously not correct. This is what the Shastras say. Then, Tasman narha vayam hantum dastarashran swabandhavan swajanam hi katam hatva sukinasyama madhava. Again, see, it revolves around that one idea, swajan. Everywhere, it's what happens in many families, many offices, many establishments. Somehow to accommodate relatives, to give to sons and daughters. ये तो सब फंस जाते हैं ना ultimately. Somehow twist rules, twist something, give something. Why? So and so is to be accommodated. Why? It's a close relative, son, daughter, daughter-in-law, or somebody, uncle, somebody. That's how the whole how corruption enters by all this. So again he is also worried. Madhava, oh Krishna, oh Madhava, it is not befitting that we kill our relations. Tasman, no, arha. Arha means it is not worthy, it is not proper. Yeah. So, Vayam Hantum Dasrashran Swabhandava. The sons of Dhartrashras and the relations, it is not really not befitting that we kill all them. Eh? Tasmana arha. And then Swajanam hi katam hatva sukinasyama madhava. How could one be happy by killing one's own relatives? स्वजन की हत्या करके कैसे मैं खुश रह सकता हूँ? How can I remain happy after killing my relatives? Is it possible? So he really is not at all. Then he's because he finds that Sri Krishna is keeping quiet. He's not replying at all. Whole thing he only the only only words Sri Krishna spoke was I've said dekho. After he obeyed like a true Sarathi, like उन्होंने बोला जैसे बताते ना चालक का गाड़ी लगा दिया रथ का. And this is all he said. He did not say anything else. He said, Partha Pashitan Samavetan Kurudit. You see, those who are arrayed on the side of Kurus, etc. He did not speak any word this whole chapter. So, he's not responding at all. So, again, is advancing more and more reasons. So, that actually, reason Brahmativa Chame Manahar. Again, he says, Dharma Sammuda. All those things, he will, again, these words, he will, because he wants some sanction because he knows that Sri Krishna desires my good only. He is my friend, Shakha, my path pradarshak hai. सब कुछ वो जानते हैं. So although he goes on, rambling, फिर भी उसका मन में मैं ठीक बोल रहा हूँ ना नहीं बोल रहा हूँ. बाद में तो बोलेंगे. My mind is totally confused. आप बताओ क्या करना है? What is good? What is Shreya? What is Shreya for me? You please tell. Because no, he goes on giving reasons. He thought that it's all fine, but Sri Krishna is not responding. So he goes further. Yadyapyetena pashyanti lobho bhata chesasah kulakshe kritam dosham mitradrohe japatakam. So he says, katam na gneyam asmabhihi papan asman nivartitum kulakshe kritam dosham prapashyad vidyanartana. So he says, even if these people, because yadyapyetena pashyanti lobha bhata, because their vision has been completely clouded by greed, etc. They do not see any evil. Because they think it is right to fight in this war. But I am seeing kulakshe kritam dosham mitradrohe chapatakam. It is full of all this, any evil, the decay of families, and any sin, the persecution of friends. Mitradrohe chapatakam. Why should we be like that? Katam na gneyam asmabhihi papadasman nivartitam kulakshe kritam dosham prapashyad vidyanardana. Why should we not we? We know the evil of such decay of families. Why should we not desist from such sinful action? So he says, they may be like that. वो तो लोभ से ऐसे कर रहे हैं, कुछ देख नहीं पा रहे इसमें क्या क्या क्षति है. So they are ready to kill their friends, relatives, everybody. But why should we not be people of discrimination? Should we not see the truth and should we not desist? So there will be kulakshaya. Actually, this kulakshaya, again, he is interpreting it very wrongly, because Kula Dharma is to protect the Dharma of Kula, for which it really stands for. Later on, what would will it be the tradition? This will be the Kula Dharma of the Kauravas, Kurus. Pandavas also from the Kurus only, that they stood for Adharma won in the war. Does he want to leave this legacy for the future generation? What is the Kula Dharma? Righteousness, that the leading the army which was fighting for the just cause won. All these should be the Kula Dharma that should be protected, propagated, and left for the future generation. Not that those who usurped somebody's kingdom, किसी को राज्य चुरा लिया, सबको ऐसे ही भेज दिया जंगल में, उनका विजेता प्राप्त हुआ. Should we leave that tradition behind? So somebody given a very beautiful, what all can be the Kula Lakshana? Acharo, Vinayo, Vidya, Pratishtha, Tirtha, Darshanam. Then Nivrittim, Danam, Navadha, Kulalakshana. These are the Kulalakshanas. So none of these come in this. So if the Kula Dharma is to be left behind, They have to give really those great qualities for which that Kula Dharma, that dynasty, that family, they stood for. Rather, he is wrongly propagating that by fighting all these people, we will get these kind of sins we should not do. No. So, again, he gives more and more instances because Krishna is still quiet. Kulakshaye pranashyanti kuladharma sanatanaha dharme nashte kulam krishnam adharmo bhi bhavatyuta. What is that? He says, when a clan becomes decadent, kulakshaye pranashyanti kuladharma sanatana. It's ancient traditions, sanatana dharmas, they perish, pranashyanti. And then dharme nashte kulam krishnam adharmo bhi bhavatyuta. When tradition and dharma perishes, then the entire clan is overcome by lawlessness. Adharma vibhav. They become full of adharma. Supposing in a clan, in a kula, it happens like that. Why it is saying probably, the the idea is if the husbands die, those days, wives cannot do anything, all the religious functions, etc., unless they are, so they'll be bereft of husbands, though they will give up dharma. So all that decay will start. Then they will start behaving in a very different way. So it is. They should understand. This is there will not be any scope for them to perform all those. So should we not prevent all these so that the earning member, the family heads do not perish, the family member, earning member, etc., they perish, then there will be a lot of the wives will be left with the family to look after, which they cannot go for employment, nor can they perform the duties, etc. Then they will all be into adharma. So should we not prevent all that? Again is going on. अधर्मो विभवात कृष्ण प्रदुष्यन्ति कुलस्त्रियः स्त्रीषु दुष्टासु वार्ष्णे जायते वर्ण शंकरः. Again he says, when lawlessness, adharmo vibhavat Krishna, when there is a complete prevalence of adharma or lawlessness, what happens? Pradushyanti kulastriyaha. Then the women of such families become corrupt. Husbands are not there. Then there'll be irregular marriages, irregular living styles, etc. Srishu dushtasu varshneya jayate varna sankraha. So Krishna is from the Varshna kull. So Varshneya is you are the descendant, son of Varshna or Vrishnis. When women are corrupt, mixture of classes prevails. Varna Sankara, admixture of classes will come. That is saying. And then actually Shankaro narakayaiva kulagnanam kulasya cha patanti pitaro hesham lupta pindodaka kriyaha. You see, Shankaro narakayaiva. So, when people will only go to hell, when kulagnanam kulasya cha, when all those destroyers of the clans, also the members of the clan, those who destroyed them and the members of the clan, they will all end up in hell. And then the Varnashankara will lead to all kinds of such problems. Because of that, without the legitimate progeny to perform all those rites, etc., the spirits of the ancestors fall deprived of the offerings of rice and water. Lupta pindodaka kriya. They will not Pesanti Pitaro Hesham, they will not get water, they will not get pinda, everything. And then they will all completely the Pitrus, etc., will not be satisfied because nobody will be there to offer them these oblations, etc. So here the idea is even the Naraka is not just by a particular action, because later on Krishna himself says here, Trividam Narakasyedam Dwaram. So there are three types of ways, Kama, Krodha, Lobha. Only if you are overcome by Kama, Krodha, Lobha, and if you keep on doing acts based on this, and then definitely it will lead to Naraka. But otherwise, in a war, if you righteous war, if you fight and die, obviously that should not lead to Naraka. On the other hand, The Arjuna's action itself is based on desire. Probably, if he does not fight, he may land up in Naraka because it is the desire that this Svajana, his relatives, should be taken care of. They should not be attacked. That is what led him to saying that no, I will not fight. I will keep quiet. So obviously, that is not a very good argument or idea. Probably they may he may end up in a wrong way. So this kind of argument is they are not acceptable at all. He says desire based action, therefore that might lead to naraka. Then he says in the 16th chapter again, asirim, asirim, asurim, yogamapanna. This, the asuri sampat leads to that kind of adogachanti tamasaha. So kama, etc., they are the doors to naraka. Dharma, uh, because there is a very famous saying, dharma rakshati rakshita. Dharma protects one who protects dharma, who upholds dharma. That's why he says, dharma has to be protected even by resorting to adharma if necessary. Then he'll still be, he will be still be called a dharmanishta because he took to the adharma to protect dharma. Even that much it is said. Actually, obviously, the this is not the argument, or this is not acceptable at all. So the Arjuna's idea is the action or not only that, action or resistance, we will is not non-resistance, it cannot be called like that. If at any point, I think even somewhere Mahatma Gandhi was so much he stood for ahimsa, etc. Somewhere he says that supposing your wife and sister, etc., are dishonor or something like that, he himself has said you take to violence. So, resisting evil, when you take action, when you fight on such a ground, that is not adharma. That will not that will not compromise your idea of ahimsa or whatever it is. In such situations, we have to take to himsa. Shankaro Narakayeva. Wait, this is over. Then Doshe Rete Kulagnanam Varna Sankara Karakehi Utsadyante Jati Dharma Kuladharmas Sashpata. So by the misdeeds of these ruiners, Doshehi Etehe Kulagnanam, those who have destroyed, these ruiners of clans, Varna Sankara Karakehi, promoters of that kind of a mixture of caste, etc. The Usadyante Jati Dharma, Kula Dharmas Sashpataha. The immemorial tradition of communities and clans will all be completely uprooted. These are all the tremendous drastic effects would happen if is all not protected properly. Then Utsanna Kuladharmanam Manushyanam Janardana Narake Niyatam Vaso Bhavati Tanishrama. Janardana, you have heard that the Narakvas awaits those, the religious traditions of whose clans have been destroyed. See, he says, supposing कोई कुल का ऐसा हो जाए, सब कुछ उनका धर्म नष्ट हो जाए, their tradition, etc. All of them, not only we, our next generation, everyone would land up. He is terribly afraid of Naraka. Again he is mentioning. eh? Narakam niyatam vaso bhavati tanushrama. Those in clans where this dharma, etc., is completely destroyed, where there is this Varna Sankara, all those descendants, etc., all will the end up, in Naraka. Heard that residence in hell awaits men, the religious traditions of whose clans have been destroyed. Actually, ultimately, the whole idea is also to Arjuna is also arguing for dharma only, but only is arguing in a wrong way. His idea is okay, but the method is not correct. See, you may hold on to a good idea, but unless that's why Swamiji again says the means are as important as the ends. जैसे वैसे में प्राप्त करना नहीं होगा. How do you really achieve? That's why, that's one of the biggest problems in the society today also. We think that this is good, this to be achieved. How? You cannot resort to unethical means, immoral means, or the path of adharma that way to achieve your ends. So the means are so important. His idea is good. He also wants establishment of dharma only. But then, but that's not the way. You should understand, because his whole approach is because he has to fight with the relatives. They may die on this side and that side. So it's completely built around the idea me, my relatives, my known people. So, if you, supposing, the prime minister of the country, we think that वहाँ एक डैम मैं करूँ तो मेरा जो relative is nearby, his land will be acquired. So let me not do the dam. Can a prime minister decide like that? Supposing I put up a big dam there, a big road there, I have to widen the road by 100 feet. 4 लेन करना है. अरे वहाँ तो एक छोटा एक झोपड़ी है, वो तो मेरा बहुत दूर संपर्क के कोई रिलेटिव का है, उसीलिए मैं नहीं करूँ. Can a person take such a decision? The larger interest in a larger context, whatever is to be needed has to be done. Anything might be. It might be unpleasant to somebody. That is what is dharma. See, it cannot be to please somebody or to cause pain to someone. Dharma has its own objectives. So you have to adhere to. In this world, there will always be sukha and dukkha. सुखा दुख तो जगत में जरूर होगा ही होगा, बट लेकिन what is it that would give us that completeness, where we can get it, all that have to be understood, and what are the means, what exactly is dharma, what is true, what is relevant in a larger context. सिर्फ अर्जुन अपना नहीं है, सिर्फ पांडव परिवार नहीं है, सिर्फ वही समूह नहीं है, सारा देश, the whole country, the whole nation, that was at stake today. What would happen if the dharma is not established, if dharma yuddha is not fought and won? So, unless we understand our role in a larger context, quite often, some people, many of us also, we think that, oh, मैं किसी को नहीं बोलूं, क्यों बाबा बोलने में क्या बुरा मानेंगे. That's very bad. So you are harming yourself, you are harming the cause, you are harming so many other things. One need not be very rude and brutal and things like that. But whatever is truth has to be said. It may be unpleasant. Why should I be bothered? मेरे साथ रिश्वत, मेरे साथ संपर्क बुरा हो जाएगा, मेरा साथ रिश्तेदार ठीक नहीं है. That is not the idea. It is not that your relation or your goodness that you be said, oh, such a sweet person, a person. No. For the sake, if you work for a cause, if you are aware of a greater dimension of your life and work and personality, you must work accordingly. That's very important. Otherwise, all of us will be committing grave mistakes and not adhering to the path of dharma. So, that's why it's very, very important. Arjuna is a representative of human kind, actually. So, Sri Krishna is trying to say that you must understand what's relevant, what's important for you, in what context you are fighting this war. Is it for your own enjoyment? Is it for your benefit? Is it that? Or is there a greater cause or context in that? That we must understand. So I will take it up next. Batata. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu. See, I have to just